One. Welcome back to our official Senior Bowl YouTube videos, live in Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl. Right now we're joined with one of the top prospects in Mobile, quarterback Carr from Fresno State. Derek, thanks for taking time out of this busy schedule to join us, and it's the fourth day. Basically all the practices are over now. Just give us your thoughts on the week, how it's gone, and just your overall feeling on being down here in Mobile.
Oh, it's been fun. It's been a great, opportunity to be here in Mobile and just compete against the best players in the nation. It's been so fun to, interact with the Jaguars staff and some of the Falcons staff, and really just, it's a big networking deal. It's a big job interview the whole week that you're here. So it's been absolutely great. It's been a ton of fun.
For people that might not have watched you play a lot out on the West Coast, just describe to the fans what type of quarterback you are, quarterback leader, what type of offense you come from, and what type of player, if their team drafts you, the type of quarterback that you'll be at the next level.
You're going to get someone that prepares like no other. I'm going to prepare, like a pro. I sit in on the offensive staff meetings, sometimes, and sit in there with Coach Schramm every day, my offense coordinator, and I get to know the game plan. And then when we hit the field, I'm going to give you everything I have. I play with a lot of passion. When you see me in person, I'm always happy, always joyful, and nice person. Really calm demeanor. But on the football field, a light switches, and I play very passionately. Because I love the game, and I know how much effort goes into it. And I think that God gave me a lot of talents, and so I need to go out there and play with a lot of effort to show Him that I'm thankful.
So you were someone that was elected team captain as a junior, I believe. What type of leadership traits do you bring to the locker room, being the quarterback? And just kind of the face of the team guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I was elected captain by my teammates for 3 years, and I think it's just because of the work ethic and how I live my life off the field. A lot of people respect the way I live, and they still know that when I need to get something out of them on the practice field or things like that, I'm gonna let them know. So, I'm just my number one goal is to make sure I get along with all my teammates and make sure all my teammates get along with each other.
You had a pretty good receiving crop this year at Fresno.
Yeah.
You had a very high-powered offense. Can you just explain the offensive philosophy that you come from, and maybe your favorite play that you like to call this year?
We like to throw a lot of go balls. We like to throw the ball up to our receivers and give them a chance. I won't give too much information away on Coach Schramm's offense, but we did have a lot of talented receivers, and I think that the 4 leading receivers, I think they're all going to be playing in the NFL.
So when you sit down with NFL teams, what's one thing that you're going to tell them about yourself that maybe doesn't come through on the field or the game film, that's going to make maybe sell them on yourself as someone they can bring into their team?
My work ethic and my determination to want to be great. Everything that I do, I work at it with all my heart, as if working for the Lord and not for man. And so I have an extra little motivation right there, and that's my motivating key, and that's how I go about my business.
Now, you're probably going to get asked this a ton throughout this draft process, but how does having a brother that's gone through the same process, being the number 1 overall pick, being highly thought of coming out of college, how has that helped you prepare not only for college football but for the draft process as it's about to begin?
It helps out so much. I have a resource that not a lot of people have, and I've had him for 22 years. So it's been great. It's been an honor, and just to have him, there by my side the whole time. He's my biggest fan.
What do you think your biggest strength is as a quarterback right now?
I don't know. I do everything that I do and accomplish is off of hard work. I can't just put it on one thing. It's just my work ethic. I'm continually trying to get better every day.
What would your teammates say about you if I went to ask one of the receivers or one of the linemen? What's one of the things you think they would say about you?
Hard worker, leader. Tough. Do whatever it takes to win. Very passionate. So, those are just some of the things I'd hope that they would say.
As the quarterback, a lot of work has to be done off the field. What are some things you do to self-scout yourself and prepare for opponents throughout the week?
Oh yeah, I could throw for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns, and I'm going to find something that I did wrong. I'm gonna nitpick myself, because the second you start getting comfortable and letting things slip, little things slip, that's when bad things start happening.
One more question. What's something that throughout this draft process, maybe it's your biggest weakness right now, something that you're working on in training that you're trying to improve on? I know as a quarterback you can always improve, but maybe give the fans one thing specifically that they can watch for that you're trying to improve on.
Just really, being back under center, so I'm working on my run game footwork. Just getting that whole rhythm back again from my first 3 years of college, and this week it's been nice to be under center again because it came back real fast. So it's never a finished product, but that's one thing I just continue to work on.
And then I guess I'll just jump in with that question before we finish up here. Is you played from the shotgun a lot in college. How difficult is it to jump back in and take snaps under center? And I know that's an underrated part of being an NFL quarterback. Is that a tough transition for you?
It's really not. My whole life I've been trained since I was 3 to play under center. I just played the last 2 years in shotgun, so it wasn't a tough transition. That's something that me and the Coach Selfo were talking about, the Jaguars quarterback coach. It's one of those things that people talk about a lot. That's not that big of a deal.
All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. I just want to thank Derek for his time. I know he's really busy this week. And he's having a great week out on the practice field, so he's someone you're definitely going to want to watch throughout this draft process, and maybe your team will be the one that picks him, and he'll be your quarterback of the future. Derek, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you. God bless.